If you're watching this video, chances are that you're burnt out. And I'm not talking about the kind of burnt out where you think, oh, I could use a holiday, I could use a bit of a vacation. I mean the kind of burnout where you're wondering how much longer you're going to be able to sustain the pace that you're going at. You're probably successful on paper. You know, you've built the business that you wanted, you've built the team that you wanted, you've hit the revenue goals that you wanted, but yet you still feel exhausted. You find yourself on your phone all the time. Maybe your people have started to notice that you are never really present because even when you are with them, you're on your phone. Let me explain to you what's happening, what it is and what it isn't, and how you're going to step out of it so that you can create a sustainable business, a sustainable life, a life that you actually enjoy. The business that you created because it was purposeful, because you wanted to serve. You didn't start it so that you could get sucked into being on all the time. So let's get right into it. Firstly, burnout is not a lack of discipline, it's not a lack of motivation, and it isn't a weak mindset. What it is an identity issue. What it is a central nervous system response to you being on and in survival mode all the time. It's your body's way of saying, hey, I can't run from survival anymore. I can't run from this energy of proving, of pressure, of overperforming. I can't run like this. Chances are that you built your business from a proving energy. There's a pressure behind it. There's an over-functioning. That is a pattern that we learned in childhood, that pattern of running on survival. It's kind of based down here in this low quadrant of consciousness. So your mind built the success, but your body is now saying, I need safety. And that's where the burnout steps in. Your body cannot run from survival long term. Something has to give. If you think of your central nervous system as the processing unit of your body, when it's overloaded, when it's overrun, when it's overheated, it just doesn't work optimally. So burnout is actually asking you to take your power back, asking you to pull your energy back in versus be on all the time. So burnout isn't failure, it's actually feedback. If you've moved through any kind of trauma, if you've moved out of survival at any point, you've kind of learned that safety is in control, and so you're constantly on, you're constantly trying to stay on top of everything. Rest feels risky, so even when you do go to relax, your body is still telling you, or your mind is still telling you, hey, we need to go back. Your fear center is on, your amygdala is on, and it's saying to you, hey, get back to work. We might miss something. We're waiting for the other shoe to drop. And if you're here, you're not there. And if you're not there, you're not in control. And so you are always on. Is it any wonder that we burn out? As Joe Dispenza would say, our brains will choose a familiar hell over an unfamiliar anything else, even if it's good for you. We know that stress doesn't feel good. We know that that doesn't land well in the body, but we'll actively, unconsciously choose it because that is where we feel safer, because we feel in control. Anything beyond that feels unfamiliar, therefore feels unsafe. And so what we need to do is learn a whole new pattern of how to actually survive, move, and create that sustainable business that we wanted in the first place. One of the things that I learned during my nervous breakdown and then trying to run a business where I hadn't actually fully come out of the breakdown, I hadn't fully let my central nervous system come back online. So I got stuck in trying to force things to happen, trying to push things to happen. That just sent me backwards because willpower is a finite resource. I was making myself show up. And here's the thing, when you're working with willpower versus alignment, you're not tapping into your highest resource. You actually, willpower is a finite resource. It's a conscious mind resource. And so it won't last. It's like trying to run a marathon on coffee and adrenaline. If you sustain that for any length of time, you're about to crash out because it's a finite resource. Alignment, however, taps you into a higher level of consciousness. Therefore, you have more available to you to be able to do what it is you want. You're not waiting to try and make things happen. You're actually hearing what your intuition's telling you. You're tapping into power, you're tapping into source. Therefore, it's easier to move towards what it is that you want versus trying to force your way to create what it is you want. We don't need to force. Force leaves us down here. It's that constraining energy. We want to tap into the higher levels of consciousness. We want to tap into those higher levels of emotion that are available to us, and they're not going to come from out there. They're going to come from within you, and they're going to come from building safety within you. Another reason why I've noticed my high performing clients burning out is because they're choosing metrics over meaning. So they've started to check conversion rates. They've started to check whether they can grow things and scale things versus where's the enjoyment. So they got stuck in tracking those metrics, but what they stopped doing was asking, where's the meaning here? Where's the fulfillment? Where's the enjoyment? Where's the purpose? And so that burnout that leads you feeling a little bit depressed is actually not depression. It's disconnection. It's disconnection from yourself. It's disconnection from your purpose. And it's disconnection from source. That's that to me and by me energy. That's down here in the lower quadrants of consciousness. But when you step in and allow yourself to tap into source, then that's when you expand out of that constricting energy and you step into where source is and where the actual power comes from. Because once you connect to source, you don't have to try and make things happen. You can connect to something that wants to work through you. You are the conduit for source. The thing that you're trying to do is actually God's work. By you stepping out there and doing what it is that you want, that's you spreading your light. That's you doing light work. That is you doing God's work. So it makes sense, doesn't it, to make God your CEO versus trying to make things happen by yourself. So rather than trying to force things to happen, you can tap into flow. This is where you're pushing. This is where you're trying to prove. This is where you're chasing. Here is where the trust comes in. This is where regulation comes in. Central nervous system regulation comes in. This is where you're in partnership with source. This is why I say God is your CEO, the greatest silent partner you ever did have. But it comes from connecting to it. You're not alone in this game of life. You are partnered with this source. You're not here without reason. You're here because source wants to work through you. You are a conduit. That power is always available. Just turn yourself onto it and you will allow it to flow through you versus trying to force things to happen. You're not alone in this. I think that's the greatest thing that I tell my clients, and it's the greatest thing that I want to tell you. You are not alone. You have this power available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Once you get present to it, you stop with that constricting energy, that tight, forceful energy, and you step into that, the freedom of flow. You step back into your power, which is up here. Those emotions are available to you right now. You don't have to go anywhere to go get them. They're present within you. The thing about here, this is why burnout occurs, because force is all consuming. It's such a dense, heavy energy. It literally sucks the life out of you. Whereas flow is sustainable because this comes from infinite power. This is finite power. This is the infinite intelligence working through you. It's the very thing that turned you on to your purpose in the first place. You're made for great success. You're made for great things because the universe is ever expanding and you're designed to succeed like everything else in the universe is designed to succeed. Your success isn't meant to burn you out. You can have sustainable success. Your success isn't something that you're meant to chase after. It's something that moves to you and through you by who you are being. And so you can create success without exhaustion. You can create success without forcing. You can create success without burning out. It's all a matter of regulating yourself and tapping into that divine power that's flowing through you. And I'm going to show you how. You can't think your way out of burnout. You have to feel your way out of burnout. We are feeling something all the time. 95% of what we're experiencing is from our emotional mind, our feeling center. So you can't try and force your way to think differently. We can only think as good as we feel. And so before you create, you have to learn to regulate. You've got to learn to calm yourself before you make your way out of any kind of vortex that you're in, whether it's the lower end vortex or even the higher end vortex. You've constantly got to be in a calm state of mind. Here's 3 ways that you can start to regulate yourself before you create. First and foremost, ground yourself. Place your feet firmly on the ground. Now, you might want to do this indoors, and I've got an outdoor exercise for you in a second. But if you're in your office or wherever you are that you create, place your feet firmly on the ground. Feel them firmly on the ground and allow yourself to sit up and look around you. Have things dotted around you that make you feel present, that allow you to remember that you're present and you're safe here. I've got my pictures of my loved ones, my holy pictures, I've got my beads, I've got little things dotted around that make me feel safe, calm and protected right here, right now. Then, as my feet are firmly on the ground, and this goes for whether you're in your office or you go outdoors, but breathe. Breathe into your belly, breathe into your diaphragm. Actually feel your belly extend outwards as you breathe. We don't breathe properly. We breathe into our lungs like I just did. We breathe into our lungs and we actually wind up with stale air in our lungs. We're not taught to actually use the diaphragmatic muscle. So if you breathe diaphragmatically, that means breathing into your belly, letting it extend outwards. And here's the key. Let your exhale be longer than your inhale. It's such a powerful tool that you have, and it's freely available to you. Anytime that you need to regulate, breathe into your belly. And I've shown you the butterfly tap before, like do some bilateral tapping and breathe into your belly and just get present and connected. And the third thing to regulate with is safety statements. God is my CEO. I am connected to the same power that powers the sun. The same power that powers the sun powers my heartbeat. The omnipotent power, the omniscient power, the omnipresent power is present in every single cell of my being. I am connected to source. I am not separate from source. Allow yourself to feel into that. Source wants to work through me. My purpose is source led. Like, remind yourself of who you actually are, not who the world told you are, not who people tell you that you should be if you want to run a successful business. Your business is going to be as successful as you want it to be once you're regulated. So get regulated. You've already created massive success, but actually, imagine how much greater your success could be if you allowed yourself to regulate beforehand and tap into the power that's working through you all day, every day. Next, you want to move from forced action to inspired action. So, anytime you're going to create something, ask yourself, am I doing this from fear or am I doing it from clarity? Have you allowed yourself the grounding and the regulation? Or do you feel like you should turn up? Are you going to force yourself to create content? Are you going to force yourself to have the sales calls? Are you going to be in the energy of receiving, or are you going to be in the energy of I must do this, I have to do this? And whose voice is that? Whose voice is telling you that that's how you need to do it? So come back to the now and ask yourself, am I doing it from fear or from clarity? And ask yourself, am I doing it from pressure? Whose pressure? Or am I doing it from inspiration? Inspiration comes from source, and inspiration comes from within you. Inspiration comes from you. It comes from within you. It's not an out there thing. It's an in here thing. It's the thing that led you to start the purpose that you're on in the first place. So all we really need to do is get connected back to the thing that inspired us to start the path and the journey that we're on. Anytime you feel like you might be in that energy, ask yourself these questions, because not all action is equal. When you're inspired, you'll find yourself more in flow. When you feel like you're forcing something, that is when you are using up all your mighty power. It's like trying to drive your car with your foot on the gas and the brake at the same time, and you're trying to move forward. You're not going to get anywhere. And then that's why you'll get stuck, and that's why you'll get stagnant. So come back to what it is that led you to do the thing in the first place. Next, let soul lead strategy. I don't know if you've ever heard of Pareto's principle, but we apply that here in business too. 80% of what we're doing comes from soul set and mindset, and the rest is your business strategy, that 20%. The most important part of you is your spiritual, emotional, and mental self. Then you can take the physical actions once everything else is aligned. So alignment always comes first. Of course, strategy matters. Of course, you need to know what you're doing, but it's never the actions that you're taking. It's the energy with which you're taking actions. Have you ever noticed that you could be applying the same strategies that your coaches and your mentors are applying, but you don't get the same results always? And the reason for that is the energy. The energy, if it's constricted, if it's down here and you're in that force energy, you're going to receive that forceful energy back. So once you're in alignment, that energy comes back to you in the way of flow, in the way of peace, in the way of that just knowingness, and you're in that flow. You don't have to force your way down the current. You actually just flow with it. But the only way you're going to be able to do that is by always tapping in to your energy. So if your soul is saying no to something, don't force yourself to do it. If your central nervous system is saying no to something, don't feel like you need to do it. Take a pause, take a second, listen in and wait. Because if it's costing your central nervous system by forcing yourself to do something, it is way too expensive, and that is leading you to burnout. What we're talking about here is an identity shift, and that identity shift doesn't require more discipline, that kind of forceful, I must get this done. It needs more safety. Your success, as we've determined, isn't built through force. It's built through alignment and regulation and flow, which is available to you at all times, but only if you allow yourself to get connected to it. I wasted so much time trying to force things to happen, trying to make things happen, and then asking myself why it's not working out the same way as it is for everybody else. And it's because I wasn't in a regulated space. I wasn't in that calm space. I wasn't in a safe space. I thought I needed more discipline, and I was in coaching communities that told me I needed more discipline. We don't need more discipline. We've proven that we're disciplined. We don't need more discipline. We need more central nervous system safety. That is what is driving the show. That is the processing unit of your body. Our success is built on alignment, on regulation, and on flow. And that feels calm, it feels clear, it feels sustainable. It doesn't feel like you need to force. And so I am safe to succeed without having to force it. Reinforce that in your new belief system. You don't need to force things to make them happen. You just need to allow yourself to feel calm so that inspiration can move through you and you can hear your intuition. Intuition, the tuition from within. It comes from within you. All of this is about getting you connected to self, to source. High performers burn out because they feel like they need to carry everything alone. But the moment you understand that you are not a soul engine, you are a soul engine. So you're not a soul engine, you are a soul engine. You are connected to something so much greater. And allow yourself to be supported by source. Allow yourself to tap into the greatest power that there is that's available to you. And you will feel different. You will feel calmer, and you will allow so much more success that is waiting, ready there to just flow into your life. But because the energy that we've got is one of trying to make things happen and trying to force things to happen, we can't receive anything that's waiting and ready to come. So from today, before you get to creating, allow yourself to ground, allow yourself to regulate, but allow yourself to understand that source is trying to work through you. You don't have to ask source to make your heart beat. It just happens. And what you're trying to do, you've been created for. It's why you want to do it. So rather than get stuck in that desire consciousness that is that I need to do this, maybe allow yourself to ask source to step in. Source, what would you have me do today? How would you have me show up today? What do you want to create through me today? What is it that I'm made for? What is it that you would like me to do? That alone connects you to something greater, and then you're not trying to make things happen. What you'll notice is that things are just happening through you, and you almost have this direct dialogue with God, and you didn't have to go anywhere to make it happen. It just began because you allowed yourself to be open to receive this guidance from source. I really hope that this supported you, and that you don't feel like you have to try and make things happen, that you have to try and force things to happen. You have such an incredible, infinite, intelligent guidance system available to you. You just need to allow yourself to trust that, tune into it and ask it for support. And I promise you that support just arrives in one way or another, but allow yourself to be open to asking and then allow yourself to be open to receive. Let me know in the comments which one of these points landed with you, and remember to share this with anybody that you know could benefit from it. Anybody that you know is trying to force their way to success or force their way to create greater success, so that they know that they don't actually have to force anything. Source is waiting to work through them. They just need to be open and available to it. And this is how. Like, share and subscribe and all the great stuff. I will see you next time. Stay blessed, stay well.